Imagine your business not just surviving, but thriving. Your wealth locked in, your opportunities exploding, and your family's future built on a legacy that never fades. I'm Leah Garcia, a financial strategist and insurance professional. I help entrepreneurs and high-growth enterprises protect, distribute, and transfer their wealth through my proven system, the Wall of Wealth. I unite your experts into one cohesive strategy because the most expensive line on your balance sheet isn't debt or taxes, it's conflicting advice. Ready to align every dollar with your mission and turn today's success into tomorrow's divine promise. Wealth today, dynasty tomorrow.
Happy Wealthy Wednesday, champions. Come on in, come on in. I always say, champions, don't panic, we pivot. I don't know what's going on with my camera today, but it doesn't mean that we're changing anything here. We're still going to have a lot of fun. We're going to bring a lot of value. In fact, this is when I know that these are going to be epic. It's when challenges happen, then I know there's somebody trying to conspire to keep this word under wraps, but that ain't going to work. I'm telling you, my speaker is backstage and she is ready to bring the fire. We had incredible coffee chat. We had an amazing chat off stage. So I know today is going to be epic, and we have an incredible topic for you. So come on in, get your notepad, bring your bunny flippers. Maybe you need something nice and warm to drink. I've got my ginger tea here this morning, and we're talking about identity crisis. From competition to contribution. How many of you have ever felt a little bit of competition, or maybe felt a little bit like, you know what, people are comparing themselves to me, or maybe you're comparing yourselves to other people? And I heard this years ago, and I'm not sure who originated it, but comparison is the thief of joy. If we're comparing ourselves to somebody else, then we're always going to not feel good about ourselves, right? If we're just new in a business, we're new in an industry, and we see somebody who's been in the industry longer than we have, well, of course, they're going to be further down the road. Of course, we can't really compare ourselves because they're in a different chapter. Listen, we're all in the same book, but we're in a different chapter, and that's okay. It's our season. Maybe we're in the planting season, right? Right now, we're planting those seeds. And then I promise you, you will come to the sowing season. I've watched this, and you'll go through it many times, many ebbs and flows. And so I don't know what's going on with my camera, but you know what? That's not stopping us. We're still going to have a lot of fun here. And so I want to bring up my guest speaker. And I just really think this is a testament to collaborations. We say that collaboration is the new currency, and I totally believe that. I met her through a collaboration with somebody else, right? We both are using the Hello LLC, and that's how I met her, was through that collaboration. And that's why we want to be open to having these conversations, opening to have a coffee chat, open to just be curious and get to know a little bit about somebody. And you never know what treasures are hidden in those conversations. Well, my guest speaker, she's an incredible person and just a warm woman inside and out, powerhouse for sure. She's actually, she's a DTM, Distinguished Toastmaster, is a John Maxwell Certified Speaker, Trainer, Leadership, and Life Coach, and DISC Behavior Analysis Consultant. Merlin is a founder and CEO of Mac Leadership Solutions, LLC. She's also a published author and entrepreneur specializing in personal growth and has over 30 years of experience. But you're going to look at her, going to say, there's no way she's been doing this 30 years because she hardly looks like she's over 29. But anyway, please give it up and give a warm round of applause for my incredible guest speaker, Miss Merlin Clark. Welcome to Wealthy Wednesday.
Hello, Leah. Thank you so much for that warm introduction and for this opportunity to be on your show. And hello to your amazing audience. I am so excited to be here. Wow. And you're right. Collaboration is the currency of today.
Absolutely. I agree. Well, we've got a few people who joined us. I want to welcome them in. Great to see you, Miss Lisa Favec. Thank you so much. She is our dietitian. She's our menopause mentor. She's all things health. Listen, we're all striving to have good health. Please watch her stuff, follow her. She drops tons of golden nuggets about improving our good health. And then I want to welcome Coach Carrie. Coach Carrie, great to see you. She is someone I just met recently through a coffee chat. I love no pitch coffee chats. And we had a great conversation, and we're going to have a future collaboration. She will be an upcoming guest speaker. Super excited for that event. I love her energy. I love the way she moves on LinkedIn. She just came in and just, put her feet all the way in the deep end. I love it. Great to see you, Coach Carrie. And Miss Linda Meter, thank you for joining us. She is one of our newest entrepreneurs. I love what she's doing. And you know what? It takes courage sometimes for us to start that endeavor that we've been wanting to, that we've been hoping to. And Linda is doing it with all courage. I love it. And then we have, oh my gosh, our Queen Dr. Leslie herself. She is our Think and Grow Rich mentor, our queen. She actually also hosts Mind Over Matter Mondays. She brings so much value. I have watched this woman in so many different spaces and places, and everywhere she goes, she wears that crown proudly. I that's all I can say is that I call her the Queen Doctor affectionately, with all respect. She's been teaching, coaching, mentoring for many decades, and just has really evolved into what we see today, right? It doesn't happen overnight. We need to get seasoned. It takes a little bit of time for us to get that alchemy. And the great Jackie Holbert, great to see you, Jackie. Great to see you. Thank you so much. She hosts Just Jack and also Wishful Wednesdays. I love it. And I absolutely love, Jackie is just so much fun. And I love her voice. I want her to be like a voiceover. What do they call it? Over? I'm not sure, but like read a book. Like she needs to read us bedtime stories, and she just is amazing. Great to see you. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Well, our topic today is identity crisis, from competition to contribution. Break free from silent insecurities. And I will start with this. Put a 1 in the chat if you've ever felt insecure. Is it just me? Because I'm going to put my 1 in the chat. I have definitely have times when I have felt insecure, but you know what I have found is that people don't know how we feel unless we say it. If I came on here and I said, you know what, I'm hosting Wealthy Wednesday, but I feel so insecure about doing this. I don't feel like I'm the right person to be able to host in this show. I don't really have that big of an audience. Like then people would know it, right? But what I've found, what has served me well, is to do it anyway. And see, that's so much fire. We got the fire engines going off here. Do it anyway, even when you feel insecure, even when you feel like maybe you don't have everything you need. You're going to find it through the fire. That's how we develop and learn who we want to be and who we can really step into. I always say the more you speak your mind, the more you grow your mind. And doing this show has definitely helped me. I come here to bring value, but sometimes I'm my best student, right? I learned so much here. So thank you so much. I see the ones in the chat. I see you. So go ahead. Let's kick it off here. Let's talk about this. What is the root of identity crisis in this comparison culture? Kick it off for us, Ms. Merlin.
Thank you, Leah. So here's the thing. The core truth. An identity crisis is often fueled by comparison and competition. When people lose sight of who they are, they begin to measure themselves against others. And what do? They try to outdo, outshine, outperform, or outposition others, forgetting that they were never created to compete, but to contribute. Mark Twain says, the two most important days of our lives is the day we were born and the day we discovered why. Why are you here? Why are you here? You are here to contribute, not compete with why someone else is here. And you're correct. You spoke about insecurity. Competition is born from insecurity, and contribution is born from identity. We must know who we are. and why we're here.
Absolutely. And for me, that has truly been an evolution. I had my children young. And so, in my 20s, my identity was all wrapped up in my children and being a mom and doing that and cheerleading for them and all of those things. And I loved it. And then, then I went through a divorce. Like there's different evolutions of who we are. And I believe as long as we're here, we have an opportunity to sharpen our sword and get better. So we should never think, gosh, you know what? I wish I knew this then. Listen, I wasn't ready then. I wasn't ready to be on this social media. I was raising my children. That was all my focus. That was all my bandwidth. So it's giving ourselves grace and understanding that we are a work in progress is what I feel. I want to welcome Chris here. Great to see you, Chris. He is our Saving Teens Lives. He is on a mission to help bring awareness to distracted driving. And I would say, I know he talks to teens, but I would tell you, I think all of us, I see it every day. All of us are getting scooped into this distracted driving. So let's talk about that sign of identity. Can be confusion. So competition is a sign of identity confusion. Would you agree with that?
I do agree with that. We don't know who we are. When people compete excessively, it's often because they don't know their own strengths. They don't even think they have any strengths or any talents. They haven't discovered their unique lane. Because each of us has a unique lane. That's why we were created. They are unsure of their value. They have no clue how valuable they are. They are afraid of being irrelevant. So what do? They copy, they compare, they chase, they mimic someone else, when they should be focusing on their own strengths so that they can impact. And what do they? Shrink and they perform. They perform doing what they think is expected of them. And that is why I always encourage people, get a personal SWOT analysis, get a DISC assessment. That's what that basically is, to identify your strengths and your weaknesses. Then once you discover your strengths, you lean into those strengths, find your lane. And then for those weaknesses, you work with someone to help develop them. Because you need to stop comparing, stop chasing what was not meant to be yours, and focus on your lane. And once you do that, you find your passion, why you are here, you're going to be unstoppable. You are here to contribute. So it creates a lot of confusion when we don't know our value and our strengths.
Yeah, that is so much wisdom there, not knowing our value and our strengths. I think we should focus on our strengths. I totally agree with you. I've had different coaching and different people have told me things, and sometimes people want to focus on what they need to shore up. I say leverage those. Get someone else to do the thing that's not your forte. Okay. And that's okay. We don't have to be the best at everything. And then the thing that you're good at, and I would even qualify it to this degree, even the thing that you enjoy doing, maybe you're not the most gifted or talented, because I think hard work beats talent, because talent hardly works hard. Okay. I've seen a lot of talented people. They seldom work hard. But I've seen people who want it. They have the passion. They have the desire. They want to bring value, and they work at it. They sharpen their sword. Listen, we all know that Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. He wanted it more. It didn't just happen for him naturally. Maybe he was a little bit too big. Maybe his feet were out of alignment. He hadn't grown into his feet. And so I believe if you have a passion for something, it is there for a reason. It is not by accident. It was put there, and that seed was meant to germinate and blossom and grow. But we cannot do that if we're always focusing on the things we're not good at. If we're trying to get, shore that up, and that's just not our thing. Stay in your wheelhouse. What would you say to that, Miss Merlin?
You need to pursue your passion. You're absolutely correct. You need to know, what are you good at? And sometimes people say, well, what's my purpose? What is your passion? What are you good at? What do people come to you to help them with? Pursue that. That is your lane. Pursue your passion. And I often talk to people who push their children into pursuing a particular career because there's money in that, but that may not be their passion. And once you pursue something you're passionate about, you're going to give it your all. You're going to show up, and you're going to put in 16, 20 hours a day to make things happen, because that's your passion. And you can impact so many people when you do that, as opposed to pursuing something that's not really your lane.
Yeah. I've heard this so many times from people that they don't know what their purpose is. They feel like they're lost in the sauce like a meatball. And I would like you to unpack that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
How do I identify our passion? And is it important that we identify that purpose? Like, what would you share with us about that?
Okay. So let me say this. Every life that God created has a purpose. And we need to remember that. And it is our responsibility to find out what that is. So again, what are you good at? Find that thing. What are your strengths? What are you good at doing? Once you discover that, then the next thing you ask yourself, who can I serve? Who can I serve? Because having those gifts and the talents and the strengths and all of that, it's for naught if you're not going to serve with it. Who can I serve? So your gifts, your passion, your talent, plus who can you serve? That's your purpose. That's why you're here, to serve, to contribute.
That is gold. I love that. Clip that for sure. It's not just finding out what we enjoy, but who can we serve with this? And it brought up a few visuals came to my mind. I have a friend I have a few friends who love cooking because I love eating. Okay. I'm not a great cook, but I'm a great eater. I will try anything as long as it doesn't have Brussels sprouts. I'm like your girl. So one of my friends who loves cooking, you might think that they would have this aspiration to open a restaurant. And it's not really that. I mean, what she does is so beautiful in our friendship. She comes up with her wonderful recipes, and I sample the things, and we sample the soup, and I give her some feedback, and then she's able to pour that into me, and then I'm able to reciprocate that with how wonderful it is, and we have the conversation. So it doesn't mean that passion has to be something, in my mind, doesn't mean that it has to be something that is monetary value. But look at what's happened with our relationship. What does that do with our friendship? And I would love to say that she just does it for me, but this is how she is with all of her friends, right?
And that's a very important point about purpose and monetization, because many people confuse their vocation with their purpose. They're not the same. Now, for me, it is, because I'm passionate about speaking and training and all of that. So for me, it is, but not for everyone. You may be an engineer, but you love cooking. So it's not the same for everyone. Vocation and purpose, they're not the same for everyone. So there's a difference in some cases.
Boom, boom, boom. So for me, one of my gifts is that I believe I'm a really good listener. And my friends come to me when they want to download something, right? They just want me to sit there and listen and rub their back and grab the tea. And we, sometimes we cry, we laugh and all that. And I think that it doesn't mean that you have to be something. I heard something recently. Let me put it this way. I was recently studying the ghost notes. Okay. A ghost note is the note in between the notes. And sometimes we're so focused on what people say, we're so focused on what we have to say, that we forget there's so much power in the white space. There's so much power in not speaking a word, listening to what isn't being said, just being there. And sometimes you sit in silence.
Powerful, powerful. That may be all that person needs at the time, because sometimes someone may be grieving and they come to you, they share something with you, and you sit there and you start giving them all this advice, and they didn't come for advice. Sometimes they just come for listening ears and don't say anything. And that is why I make a differentiation with the golden rule and the platinum rule. So because I may want someone, when I talk to them about something, for them to give me advice and tell me this is going to be okay, that's the golden rule. So they're going to treat me the way they would want to be treated. The platinum rule is you can't expect everyone to want the same thing you would want. You treat them the way they want to be treated. They may desire something different. I don't want you to say anything. I just want listening ears.
Yes, yes, yes. And that reminds me of the love languages, right? Those love languages. And if your love language is quality time, but your partner's love language is acts of service, that is a disconnect, because they're constantly trying to do things for you, which means that they're never there because they're running the errands. But yeah, talk more about this golden rule, platinum rule.
So, we all learned the golden rule coming up. Most of us did. You treat others the way you want to be treated. You want to be respected. All right? That's the golden rule. Be kind, be nice. And so we learned the golden rule. Treat others the way you want to be treated. However, the platinum rule says, treat others the way they want to be treated. In other words, you're not clones of each other. They may not desire the things that you desire. So that means you need to know the person. You need to know the person. And if you don't know what they desire at the time, you ask. Curiosity. Leah, how can I serve you at this time? What do you need most during this time of grief, or during this time of unemployment, or whatever? You're having a bad time at work. What can I offer you? It may not be advice, oh, you need to quit that job and go look for another job. That may not be what they need.
Yeah.
Find out what they desire from you. That's the platinum rule.
That is so beautiful. I love that, Miss Merlin. And it comes from being, I think we need to kind of set our own agenda aside and really being curious. In the dojo, we bow. And a lot of people think it's a sign of respect, which it is. But my first sensei taught me that we leave our troubles at the door. Like if you want to train and everything, leave your troubles at the door. And when you come back out, you can pick those troubles up again if you care to. But we have to be willing to, because you need all your concentration. I think sometimes we just assume. So before you see your loved ones, before you see your family, and this can get really hard, but take that time to kind of leave that baggage in the car, or, do some kind of little ritual. Maybe you get a little gumdrop or something to kind of refresh yourself, or drink some coconut water or something like that. So it's signifying with you that, okay, now this is a different gear. I need to be focused on this person. And really for me, I have so many clients back to back a lot of times, but I leave some white space so that I can leave that person there, all the notes and all that, and I can just be focused on the person in front of me.
Yes. Yes. Be present now with this person in front of you. Then when you're done with this person in front of you, in some free time, you can refocus on what you need to do for the person, the client that you had previously. But while you're with this person, be present now. Be present with me. Be present with me.
Yeah. How would you say that identity impacts us? Is it like, what does it do if we really are solidified in our identity? How does it impact us as we move around in the world?
It impacts us in the fact that if you don't know your value, you don't know who you are, you don't know why you're here, you're going to accept anything.
Whew.
You're going to stay in unhealthy relationships. You're going to stay on that job that no longer serves you because you don't think you deserve better. And what do? You have so much to offer. And because you don't know it, you shrink, you remain invisible, and you train yourself to stay invisible out of their way because you don't know your value. But once you know your value, you know why you're here, you know that you're here to contribute, and you have something to contribute. Each of us has something to contribute. Once you know that, you're going to work on that. And the world will see you differently because you are showing up differently with confidence. You're not just here to take up space. You're here to contribute, and you want to show them what you have.
That's profound. If you're just joining us, rewind that last dialogue. That is really so much wisdom in there. I want to welcome a few more people who've joined us. Welcome. It's great to see you, Christine Bailey. She has an incredible podcast. If you don't know, find her on YouTube. And by the way, this is an opportunity for you to go ahead and rah-rah yourself. My intention here is for us to collaborate together, connect with each other. So if you have something that's upcoming, you are more than welcome to share it in the comments. If you have a free ebook, go ahead and put it in the comments, right? This is your opportunity to connect and collaborate with one another. And Frank Groen, he says, when you find your strength, makes us really change the way we look at ourselves and others around us. Mic drop, gold bar. I'm giving you a gold star, Frank. That's incredible.
Fantastic. So I'm going to put this in the chat so that they'll know where to purchase my book, Let It Go and Flourish, and how to connect with me on social media and my different platforms. And they can get a copy of an excerpt of the book. My book is titled Let It Go and Flourish, Live a Life of Peace, Passion, and Purpose. It's on sale on Amazon, but they can purchase a signed copy from me. And the only difference, they'll pay an additional $5 for me to ship that to them within the United States. But I have a free excerpt, and that's on my Biz in the Box. And if I put this is my URL. Let me put this in here.
I love that. That's great. You got a great comment here by Coach Carrie. She says, yes, Miss Merlin Clark, who can I serve? Words I live by. How do we know if we're really being in service? What are some things that we should, kind of a litmus test?
Okay. So think, if when you're serving, you are contributing. Contribution is the language of purpose. And it's not about being better than others. Purpose is about being useful to others. So when you think about purpose, you think about service. And we're contributing by serving. And what contribution says is, there is room for me. My gifts matter. My voice is needed. You share your voice, and your story has value because everybody has a story. And when you have a contribution mindset, a service mindset, you're building collaboration. You create communities. You encourage empowerment. You attract opportunities, and you release pressure. And I say that because you and I met through the Hello LLC, HELLO, helping everyone live life optimally, from David Jones and Tara Bush. we're part of their pivot team. And because of them introducing us, you and I collaborate. And here it is. I'm serving. You are serving. We are contributing. And it's all part of that community. So David and Tara created this community and the pivot team where we get to connect with each other. And Christine Bailey is part of that community. We are serving. We are collaborating. We each have different skills, different talents that we're coming together because no one person knows everything. But when we collaborate, we serve on a different level because we're bringing all of those skills, the gifts, the talents together to contribute, and we're serving.
Absolutely.
Having a contribution mindset. However, on the other hand, when you have a competition mindset, it creates anxiety. It breeds jealousy. It fuels insecurity, which you touched on earlier, and it distorts identity. And you know what else it does? It drains confidence. You know, you don't show up with confidence because you're walking in somebody else's lane.
Yeah. And I think about it this way, like I have, like, when I'm shutting these people out, it's because I genuinely know who they are. We've had coffee chats together, and whatever they do, I try to highlight what I see in them, and that in order to do that, you really have to be confident in what you are. And what I'm going to say this: if I was not confident in myself, then I'd see Miss Rosie Winfield here. I call her my Gita girl, right? Then I might feel some competition with her because she posts these amazing poems. That's not my wheelhouse, right? But I can admire and respect that and enjoy that with her, and not feel like, oh gosh, well now I need to be a poet as well.
Absolutely. Because you know what your passion is. You know what your strengths are. That's her lane. Because there are things that you do that she may not be embracing, that she may not do. Each of us has our lane. And we need to, it doesn't mean that we can't try different things, because as an entrepreneur, I believe in multiple streams of income. That's income. And it's nothing wrong with learning different hobbies or different things. But if that's what she does, that's who she is. And it's nothing wrong if I love poetry. I want to learn poetry. That's okay. But not because she's doing it and not because she's successful at it. Do it because it's something you always wanted to do. But now you're connecting, you align with someone who can help you get started.
Yeah.
That should be the reason.
That's so good. And that's that collaboration, right? We've got some great comments here by Christine Bailey, and they're kind of long, so it's going to kind of hide your face here, but I think I want to make sure we highlight this. She says, Christine Bailey says, when you operate from contribution, you don't have to race anyone. You just show up obediently, and obedience always outruns competition or comparison. Oh my gosh, I love that. That is fire. You are so on point. And I would say this: I have a YouTube channel. She has a YouTube channel. I think my YouTube channel has been going on for way longer than hers. But she has, when she does her live, she has like over 1,000 people. I've got like 75 people on there. If I was looking at that in comparison, I might feel bad about myself or something, right? But I look at that and admiration out of respect of what she's done. And so she has another comment here, which is, same comment. Okay. What would you say about competition, since we're kind of talking about that? What are some things we've got to be aware of, kind of some pitfalls about competition?
Okay. It distracts you. It distracts you. You see, identity anchors you. Competition distracts you. So when you compete, when you compete, you don't think you're good enough. You know, you compete with your peers. You doubt their relevance. You question timing. You compete with other people, and you may even say negative things about what they are doing. Whereas you envy other people's success. You question your value, and you hesitate to step out when you're competing. It distracts you. You feel intimidated by strong people. You dim your light to fit in. Your identity is shaky, to say the least, when you're in a competition mindset. You envy others' success. And you talk them down. You dim your light to fit in. You want so much to be like someone else.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
My beautiful, precious grandson's name is Maverick. And we had this beautiful dinner for Valentine's Day. He was my Valentine. And so I had him make sure that he was, opening the door for me and pulling out the tree. He's 7. Okay. He's like, okay, I'm guessing he's never really done that before. So it was really fun. And we had this really beautiful, intimate dinner that we did. And I started talking to him about what his name, he was kind of sharing with me that he was getting upset with some of the kids at school. It was a real deep conversation. Okay. We were there for like 30 hours. But he was sharing with me how some of the kids at school, kind of giving him a bad time. I said, well, you know what, Mijos, don't you know what your name means? Don't you know what your name, like why you were named that? You were not born to fit in. You're supposed to be the leader. You're the one leading the way. You're supposed to stand out. And oh my gosh, I wish you could just see his face. It was like it just transformed this little 7-year-old. I just want to share that moment. I want to mention my precious grandson whenever I can. But thank you for letting me share.
I see you with him on social media all the time. I have a 6-year-old grandson too, and he comes home with the same thing. And so what my daughter starts doing with him in the morning is saying words of affirmation to him. And she has it framed in his room, words of affirmation. And adults, we need to do that. Affirm ourselves, affirming our values. Because like I said, we are valuable. And here's the thing, Leah. No one will place a higher value on you than you place on yourself.
Say that again, Miss Merlin, for the people in the back.
No one will place a higher value on you than you place on yourself. If you think you're worth $1, they're not going to treat you like you're $1 million. You were created here on purpose for a purpose, and you need to live that purpose and know that before you were formed in your mother's womb, God had a plan for your life. And it's not what somebody else said it is. It's what God says it is. And that's what has anchored me. Don't think I have not been bullied. I was bullied in school. I was bullied in the workplace. I know what it's like to be in a toxic work environment. But that anchored me. I know who I am. I know why I am here. And that's what we need to focus on. Affirm yourself. You are valuable. And once you do that, you will not stay in that relationship where someone is telling you you will never do better without him or without her. No. So you're saying that if that person leaves, you're done? No. Be careful of people who say, oh, you'll never make it without me. They're coming from a place of insecurity.
Oh my gosh. It's like you could read my mind. And listen, we're all in a growth process. There's a great comment here I want to highlight by Great Finances, which is actually Coach Carrie. She's on her YouTube, which I love it. Thank you for joining us on YouTube, Coach Carrie. She says there's power in listening. Great comment, Leah. I loved your response, Marilyn. I thought I used to think I created the platinum rule. What? I thought I used to think I created she used to think she created the platinum rule. Wow, this is blowing my mind. Okay, she loves your comment. This is great. They are picking up what you're putting down. They are smelling what you're cooking. I love it. Here you go, right here. This is great wisdom by our very one and only Dr. Queen Leslie Flowers. There's a big difference between want and need.
Absolutely.
Ooh, great, great, great. Absolutely. I want you to come with me. I don't need to have you with me.
Yes. Yes.
Another great comment here. I used to say to myself and my students as a former school teacher, leave your troubles at the door. I would do a check-in with each student before class started. Oh, I love that, Coach Carrie. Awesome. Yes, leave that white space. Absolutely. I love that so much. So, what would you also say to us as we're kind of getting ready to wind down here, where we're talking about this competition, collaboration, and really our own insecurities? What are some tools that we can put in our tool belt, things we could use today if we are feeling a little insecure? Maybe we don't intentionally want to compare or compete, but we just kind of feel that and we're feeling kind of jealous or feeling some kind of way about somebody else. What are some tools, some kind of check-ins we can have with ourselves?
Know your value. Identify your strengths and your weaknesses. Know your worth. Connect with someone who can help you overcome your limitations. Know that you were not randomly placed here.
Oh, yeah.
God put a lot of thought when he created you, and you are unique, and your purpose is unique. Remember that. I want you to remember that. So when you think about competing with someone else, remember why you were created, for your purpose. Their life has worth. You need to understand that what may be good for someone else may not be good for you. And it's your responsibility to find out what your purpose is. It's your responsibility. And I know we're getting ready to wind up, but I want to talk about, because this is Wealthy Wednesday, right, Leah?
Yes.
And,
Yes.
and I help high achieving women. I work with men to overcome limiting beliefs, doubts, identity crisis, and to lead and communicate with clarity and confidence, and to build wealth and legacy. And legacy is not just about money, it's what you invest in someone. Inheritance is what you leave them, but legacy is what you invest in them. And what is the core connection with wealth and identity?
Yeah.
It is before a money issue. Wealth is an identity issue before it's a money issue, because people don't struggle with wealth because they lack information. They struggle because they don't see themselves as contributors of value. And I'm tying that in with contribution. They don't see themselves as contributors of value, because income follows value. Wealth follows contribution. Legacy follows identity. So when someone is stuck in competition, they chase titles instead of building assets. They compare income instead of increasing their value. They seek validation instead of leverage. They stay stuck in jobs instead of building ownership. Consume instead of creating. So that's not a money issue. That's an identity problem, who you are. And competition keeps you living from paycheck to paycheck in a paycheck mindset. You can see beyond where you are. It trains people to think, who is ahead of me? Who makes more than me? Who got the promotion? How do I keep up? Why are you concerned about that? That's their thing. This mindset keeps you dependent on your employers. It keeps you focused on wages, not ownership. It keeps you afraid to take financial risks. It keeps you measuring success by salary, not assets. They're not concerned about building assets. Well, how are you going to build a legacy? How are you going to create wealth? By working from someone 9 to 5? No. You cannot build wealth while constantly comparing your lane to someone else's. Wealth requires long-term thinking, patience, vision, self-trust. You have to trust yourself, and identity stability. Where competition shortens your horizon, contribution expands it.
Hmm.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yes, yes, yes. I concur. I've got my golden nuggets here. I got to ring my little bell because you guys can't even see me. I'm reacting to this. Yeah, that was fire, fire, fire. And I always say this: money likes speed, but wealth takes time. And what I mean by that, when I say that, people get a little confused by that. It means that when money like speed is when you can make quick decisions because you know what your core values are. You have some basic foundation rules that you live by with your money. So you can recognize an opportunity and you can see when something isn't for you. But wealth, to build wealth, true wealth, does take time. And by the way, you may not be the one who enjoys the wealth. You may be building this legacy, this dynasty, right? I love talking about dynasty because that dynasty may not be for you. It may be the dynasty you're building for your children and your great grandchildren, the families that never see you. And so when we can understand that, I think that we can embrace money a little bit differently and understand. Listen, if I'm feeling confused about making financial decisions, you probably don't understand some basic rules. You got to understand some basic rules about money. And then what are your core values? What are the things you're going to do and not do for money? And then you can make quicker decisions. But when we have to agonize over every single conversation and every money decision, then we get lost in the sauce like a meatball. That is confusion. And that's not, listen, clarity will make you wealthy when you're clear about who you are, what you stand for, what you believe in. You will, and you said this earlier, Miss Merlin, you're going to start attracting things. People are going to start attracting to you. You're going to have opportunities open up that you never could have imagined, would never even consider, just because you are walking in who your identity, who you are. There's a great comment here by Frank. It is a long one, but I do want to highlight it. It's going to cover our faces. In just 20 minutes, you can gain clear insight into what makes you unique, wired for impact through your personal purpose factor. Okay, so that's something that he does. Great comment, Frank. Thank you so much. We'd love to know more about that. And by the way, I'm always looking for guest speakers. So Frank, let's have a coffee chat. And we have, oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. Hold the phone. We have Mr. Mic Drop himself in the house. Mr. Mic Drop, Mr. David Jones from the Hello LLC. I call him Mr. Mic Drop because he's always dropping gold bars, dropping gold nuggets everywhere he goes. And let's see, we've got Miss Christina. Oh my gosh, Christina Salgato. She says, competition only stings when we forget the ideas are mystical travelers floating through the universe, looking for homes in your unique soul. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is deep. I love it. Christina, this is a long comment here. I'm going to highlight it really quickly. I'm telling you guys, this is so on point. This is absolutely true. I hear people who do a lot of this too. They will have an idea, they never act on it, and then they'll see somebody else do that idea and they say, well, I thought of it first. Well, guess what? You didn't do anything with it. And by the way, listen, ideas are out in the ether. They're everywhere, waiting for the person who is willing to take that massive action, right? We don't need more knowledge. We need more doing. We need more action. We've all read books. We've all studied. We've all gone to the powwows and the networking groups and all these things. But how much of it do we really use?
And you know, Leah, I know we're getting close, but I want to say this. Many people, because it's Wealthy Wednesday, many people have a negative mindset when it comes to money. because they think, oh, people who are pursuing wealth, they're just greedy and whatever. If
Yeah.
you, this is how I look at wealth. The more I make, the more I can impact others, the more I can
Yes.
give, the more I can help my causes. So if you're thinking about wealth only in terms of what you want for yourself and not about how you can contribute to help others, now you need to change your mindset about wealth. It's not just about you, it's leaving a legacy, it's impacting others so that they can be successful. We should surround ourselves with three sets of people: those who are ahead of us, those who are on the same level as us, and those who are below us, not beneath us, but below us, so we can reach back and help them.
That's
Now,
right.
if I build wealth, I can help those people,
That's
I
right.
can help causes. So we need to change our mindset about money, about wealth.
Oof. Yes, 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 yes. And sometimes I will even say it this way, the right between the eyes, right? I will just say, when people say, well, you know what? I'm not greedy. I don't need a bunch of money. I'm like, well, why are you being so selfish? Why do you think
Exactly.
it's only about you? Do you not have children? Do you not have grandchildren? Do you not have the hope of one day having a family? Do you not have a charity that you believe in, a cause that you fight for, something that you go out and you picket for? Well, what if you could put some dollars behind that picket sign? What if you could write a check so that they can build that building or save that family? That is a different way to move in this world. And that's when we're talking about building a true dynasty. And that's what we're talking about. Listen, we are not being greedy. We're receivers, right? We're receiving the abundance, we're receiving the wealth. And when you work through abundance, when you're working in abundance, then there is no competition. There's enough room for all of us. There's
Yes.
enough room for all of us.
And that's what people need to understand. And we need to be prepared for when opportunities come our way. Don't wait until the opportunities come, then you're getting ready to prepare. Something my late grandmother told me: don't wait until you're hungry to start cooking. Okay? Lunchtime is at this time. So you start cooking. You don't wait until lunchtime to start preparing the meal. You prepare the meal ahead of time.
Yes, yes, yes. And I've only been doing this show a couple of years, but you know what? I've been preparing for it for a decade. I was constantly talking in the mirror, talking in the shower. I was ready for an opportunity when Eric F. King invited me to share his stage about 3 years ago, or maybe more. It's been a while we've been collaborating together. I could immediately say yes. I didn't have to second guess. I wasn't worried. I wasn't concerned. What am I going to talk about? No, because I've been giving speeches to me, myself, and I for years. Right.
Yes.
So I was already, and not saying that I'm perfect by any means. I'm still in the process, absolutely. But I had some ideas of some ways to give a talk. I've been to Toastmasters and stuff. So whatever you want to do, start doing it now. If you don't have an audience, talk to yourself, right? Talk to your dog, talk to your grandchildren, because they'll always think you're wonderful no matter what you do. Oh my goodness, this has been so much fun. I tell you guys, if you don't know Miss Merlin, please connect with Miss Merlin. And by the way, you've made some new fans and friends here, Miss Merlin. So how can people reach you? Where can they find you? How do they find this amazing biz in the box that you've got?
I have it in the chat here. It's merlinclark.com. merlinclark.com. And they will get a free excerpt of my book there, a chapter on Let Go of Comparison. That's on my Biz in the Box. And they can connect with me to learn about my real estate investment program. And if we don't have enough time for me to share how I even got into real estate investment, because sometimes when life beats you up, that's when an opportunity comes by that if you were not unemployed or hungry enough, you would not even see that opportunity. And I've been doing real estate investment since 2003. 23 years. I can tell you the pitfalls and everything. And that's how I help my children, my grandbabies, friends, causes, my charities. It's not just about me. Building wealth is not just about you.
That's right. That's right. And there's nothing else to be said. That was another mic drop moment. This was a lot of fun, Miss Merlin. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you for the collaboration. Thank you for bringing all your wisdom and your golden nuggets and gold bars. Any last minutes in closing here?
I just want to thank you so much for having me on this show so that I can add value, because that's what I'm all about, adding value. And just to remind people, don't compete, collaborate. Align yourself with people of value, and don't think about just what you can get from them, but what you can contribute to them, because that's what it's all about. Connect with me on social, LinkedIn, Instagram. I have my information in the chat, and go to my Biz in the Box at merlinclark.com and learn more about my program.
Awesome. I love it. Thank you so much, Miss Merlin. We appreciate you so much. And I'm just going to say, listen, I don't have a camera on here today. I'm not sure what's going on, but you know what? I know you got value from this today. Share this with somebody who needs to hear this. Maybe you know somebody that's kind of going through an identity crisis, or maybe a new entrepreneur and they're feeling like a little bit of comparison, right? It really is about us, that collaboration. Share this with somebody else. And also, if you are looking to be a guest speaker, I'm always looking for amazing guest speakers for my Wealthy Wednesday. I believe that true wealth is having wealth in the 7 F's: in your faith, in your family, in your finance, in your fitness, right? Because we got to be in good fitness, in our fun, in our philanthropic, because I believe that givers gain. And the 7 F is because I'm a foodie. I believe that food brings us together, and it can be costly to have good quality, high quality, organic food. So I believe true wealth is having success in all the 7 areas. So if you have a story to share, you've got something unique to offer, I would love to chat with you. I'd love to showcase you, highlight you, shout you out, and bring you on the stage here. And thank you so much, everybody. And remember, listen, this is 2026. It is your year to get in the mix. It is your year to come out of the shadows. We've already been in the shadows. Now it's time for us to shine. So put yourself out there. Have a connection call. Have a free coffee chat. Put your comments and thoughts in the chats, in the comments, because people see this on the replay and they're going to see how you move in this world. They're going to see what you're about. You don't have to send people DMs. You can actually go in other people's comments and comment, and then people are going to showcase you. They're going to highlight you. They're going to shout you out. They're going to invite you to be on their show. They're going to send you clients. I'm telling you, collaboration is absolutely the new currency. Thank you so much, everybody. Remember, wealth today, dynasty tomorrow. Thank you so much, everybody. See you next week. We're here every single Wednesday at 10 a.m.
Hey there, I'm Leah Garcia. Have you ever wanted a career where you truly make a difference in people's lives? I'm building a team of driven financial and insurance professionals, people who want to help families and businesses protect, distribute, and transfer their wealth with confidence. If you're passionate about guiding others to achieve financial security, then you're exactly who I'm looking for. Join my supportive, growth-oriented environment and unlock your full potential. Ready to take the next step? Visit leahgarcia.io and let's start building your future together.